Ever wished for a spiritual shortcut? A way to speed up that long, tough journey to salvation, all packed into one single, powerful place? Well, in this explainer, we're cracking open a sacred text that says such a place actually exists. Let's see what it has to say.
The whole thing kicks off with this massive question. It's a question that people have been asking forever, right? And here it's posed by a great king, Yudhishthira. He's desperately looking for a way out of the cycle of suffering, not just for him, but for everyone. And look at the words he uses. He calls life a dense mire. I mean, what a picture that paints, right? Like being stuck deep in the mud. He's not just thinking about himself, he's asking for all of us, trying to figure out how to get to Svarga, to heaven. This is the big problem the text is trying to solve.
So what's the answer from the sage Markandeya? You might think it's some new philosophy or a complicated set of rules, but nope, it's a place. A very specific and apparently a very, very powerful river that holds the key to liberation. And that place is the Narmada River. So what's the big deal about this river? Well, according to the text, it's so sacred that it survived the destruction at the end of a yuga. And we're talking about a cosmic age here, millions of years, a whole cycle of the universe being created and destroyed. So this isn't just some old river, it's basically an eternal sanctuary, a place outside of time. Okay, now here's where it gets really good. The text makes a pretty wild claim. Getting ahead spiritually somewhere else could take ages, maybe lifetimes. But on the banks of the Narmada, it happens fast. This is the core promise, this incredible acceleration of your spiritual journey. So you're probably asking, okay, how fast is fast? The text gives a shockingly specific answer. It says that even a sinner can achieve siddhi, that spiritual accomplishment, in just 6 months. 6! And if your mind is already pretty pure, it's even quicker. Just 3 months. That's unbelievable. But how do you actually do it? It's not like you can just show up and expect everything to change. The text lays out a super clear guide, the tools and the actions you need to take on this express lane to purity. First things first, before you take a single step, it all comes down to your state of mind. And that word is shraddha. We translate it as faith, but it's way more than just belief. The text says it's the absolute, non-negotiable foundation for everything. Without it, the whole thing is pointless. And the text does not mess around with this point. It lays it out, plain and simple. If you don't have that deep, unwavering faith, everything you do, all the rituals, all the effort, is completely fruitless. It's the key that turns the whole engine on. Okay, so you've got the faith. What's next? Well, the text gives you this very clear 4-step devotional toolkit. You start with a holy bath in the river itself. Then you cover yourself in holy ash. After that, you worship the Shiva Linga 3 times a day and you recite the sacred Rudra mantras. I love the way the text describes the holy ash part. It's not just some symbolic gesture. It's said to have this real, tangible power. It destroys sin, just like the sun melts snow. It's like a total spiritual reset button. So the path is fast, for sure. But that doesn't mean it's easy. It comes with some very strict rules and some serious warnings about the things that can completely throw you off course. One of the biggest warnings is all about food. The text lays out this really stark hierarchy based on the traditional social classes. Food from a Brahmana, that's nectar. From a Kshatriya, it's like milk. But then it gives this incredibly strong warning about food from a Shudra, calling it blood that has to be avoided. So why all the fuss about food? What's the big deal? Well, this quote explains the logic behind it. According to this text, sin can be transmitted. When you eat someone's food, you're not just eating calories, you're spiritually absorbing their karma, their sin. So purity isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you consume. And the warnings aren't just about external things like food, they're about who you are on the inside. The text is crystal clear. You can't just go through the motions. If you're faithless, a hypocrite, wicked, or especially greedy, you won't make it. It doesn't matter how perfectly you follow the steps. So after all the instructions and all the warnings, the text builds to this incredible poetic climax. It's called the Nandi Gita, the Song of Nandan, and it's basically presented as the ultimate anthem of liberation. So the story goes, this song was spoken by the divine Nandin himself, in front of this huge assembly of sages and gods. And its whole purpose? To cut right through all the noise and give a final answer to that question we started with. How do we escape worldly suffering? And the song begins with this really direct, really compassionate call out. It's speaking to anyone and everyone who's hurting, and it invites them to listen, not for some god, but for their own happiness. It's a personal invitation to find relief.
And then, wow, the tone just completely flips. It becomes totally defiant. It actually calls out Kinasha, the god of death, and tells him not to get arrogant. The idea is that for a true devotee, even time and death itself, Kala, are nothing to be afraid of. It reduces them to being but a child. That is an incredibly empowering thought.
The core instruction of the whole song really boils down to total all-in focus. The repetition here is completely intentional. Resort, meditate, eulogize, worship, bow down. It's a call to recenter your entire being on the divine as the one true solution.
And finally, the song just brings it all home. It asks a simple question. Why are you making this so hard on yourself? Why chase all these other difficult paths to liberation? The answer, it says, is simple. Just go to the Narmada. It's called Reva here. That's the shortcut. That's where the ultimate goal is easily achievable. And that leaves us with something really profound to think about. This text isn't just talking about a holy river. It's describing a kind of spiritual technology for salvation. It makes you wonder about the balance between our own effort and the power that might just exist out there waiting for us. If a place could really wash away a lifetime of karma, what does that tell us about divine grace versus our own personal struggle?